Test, test. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thank you all for joining us today at our inaugural TEDx GJS event. We at the TEDx GJS crew welcome you with open arms, and we are super excited to embark on this pleasurable journey today. Today, our theme is Thriving on Turmoil. This invites us all to explore how challenges and chaos can spark resilience, innovation, and growth. Today, here with us, we've gathered a diverse lineup of inspiring speakers who will share insightful stories, thought-provoking ideas, and practical advice on how they face adversity head-on. They also persevere through challenges and ultimately emerge stronger and better equipped to thrive in any circumstances. Our lineup today consists of very brilliant speakers such as Bapak Rajpal Singh, the corporate head of nursing at Mayapada Healthcare Group, Bapak Ariel Nayaka, who's a singer-rapper, Anika Siahaan, who's a fellow student at Global JS School and the Secretary General of Hawks Mundo, Bapak Ben Giles, who is a fellow parent at Global JS School and the director of PT Talo Kembar Austra Indo, Bapak Charnain Ibrahim, who is a doctor at Rumah Sakit Pondok Indah and the founder of Amnion Clinic, and last but not least, Bapak Arya Kuntadi, a former Global JS School alumni and the commissioner of PT Telkom Mitra. Before we start with our exciting talks, your safety and comfort are our top priorities. Since there are several audience members who are not a member of the Global JS School community, we would like everyone to look at the screen for our safety video. It seems like the audio is not working right now, but in the case of the fire, there are 4 emergency doors, left, right, here and there. In the case of an earthquake, we will ask the audience to exit the building in a very orderly manner, which is directed by security, which is present at the building at all times. In the case of an intruder, we will ask the audience to stay inside the room as the doors will be locked externally by security. Thank you for your attention. Furthermore, we would like to remind everyone that food and drink are not allowed in the theater, so please leave your consumables outside the venue. To create an immersive experience, we ask that your phone is on silent and that the brightness is lowered so everyone is comfortable. Recordings of the speakers are permitted, but we would like to note that this will be live streamed as well, so for anyone who wants to rewatch it. Before we begin, we would like to invite a member of Global JS School leadership to give their opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our head of school, Dr. Howard Menand.
All right, well, good evening and welcome. It's a real pleasure and honor to be up here and kicking off the first TEDx event here at Global Jaya, Thriving on Turmoil. But I have to admit, I was a little bit nervous and anxious about coming up here and speaking to all of you, knowing that I'm preceding many prolific and experienced public speakers. So, to help prepare for the event and make sure that I didn't let everybody down, I have to admit I cheated. No, I didn't use ChatGPT, and I didn't buy my speech on Reddit, but I looked up what makes a good speech, a good TED Talk on Google, the old-fashioned way. So what I found out is, first of all, you should start with a personal anecdote. And so my personal anecdote is expressing to you the shock, the amazement, and how impressed I was last year when a group of Year 11 students showed up at my door, my office, asking if they could have a TEDx event here at Global. And I thought, it sounds great. I'm all for it. It sounds very ambitious, but let's do it. So here we are almost a year later, and it's happening. So I was really impressed with these Year 11 students and their sense of agency to bring this event to life. Now, another important aspect of a TED Talk should be a shocking statistic or fact. And so you might be surprised and interested to know that the shortest TED Talk was only 52 seconds, and actually created by and shared by a guy named Hans Rosling, who in 52 seconds explained the world using 10 stones. So if you get a chance to check it out, it's actually a really interesting, engaging TED Talk in only 52 seconds. Another important and shocking statistic is that I was surprised that TED Talks were not actually created by a guy named Ted. Actually, they were created by a guy named Richard, and TED stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. All right, so I've shared with you two aspects of TED Talks that are really important, a personal anecdote and shocking statistics and facts. But lastly, when you wrap up your speech, you should include an impact or a sense of symmetry. And so if you don't mind, I think the impact here would be that we take a moment to acknowledge the group of students who made this event possible. I know that they've put in a lot of work. They've actually spent a lot of time working with the secondary principal and the team, making sure that this event happened, and they deserve our recognition. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read their names off, and then I think we should follow that with a nice round of applause. So our organizers were Jihan and Fayyad. Our logistics team was Rafi and Kai. Our production crew was William. For curation, we had Oliver. For partnerships, we had Rasha. Media is led by Alfie and Raswara. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. And finally, the design was Zarik. So let's give these guys a round of applause for their hard work. It's really one of the things that impresses me about Global Jaya students. It's their sense of initiative and agency and willing to take on challenges and think big. And I would say a TEDx talk is thinking big. So just a huge sense of gratitude to the students for bringing this event to the school. It'd be wonderful if we can continue with TED Talks in the future. Thank you to our speakers who will be sharing their thoughts and provocations throughout this evening's events. And I hope you enjoy your time here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Howard, for your opening remarks. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our first speaker, Dr. Muhammad Charnain Ibrahim.
So I'm starting, okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope peace be upon you. I am Dr. Bram. I'm a OBGYN. So I am quite shocked that I have invited to speak today I'm talking about the thrive and turmoil. Beside that, I'm only talk about the delivering the baby, so I don't know what to talk right now. So, I think right now I gonna talk about the dream. Yeah, the dreams that why I become like this right now. Yeah. Okay. So the dream, I think we already always forgot about what last night we have dreamed for. Yeah. Maybe some of you think that the dream is meaningless, and some of you maybe you remember what the dream last night, every detail of your dream. Yeah. So I'm firmly that believe the dream can make me what I am today. So just every man in the world right now, let's the history always already teach us that every man who conquered the world has a dream. Yeah, just like Indonesia when colonized, they have a dream to be freedom and use only the pointed bamboo to win the war. And also Vietnam, and also Albert Einstein also believe in that the knowledge is nothing. Knowledge is nothing without religion, and vice versa is blind. So that's why I believe with dream, we can do to embrace the challenge, all the motivation, innovation, perseverance, resilience will be less without the purpose of dreams. So I will tell you about my experience when I, after high school, I have to choose between two faculties, and one of them is medical faculties, and also actually I really good in art. So I want to be a design graphist before. But my parents, both of them is a doctor, and they only know there is three jobs that can survive. Doctors, doctors, and doctors. They only know only doctors can survive. I think maybe in last time, maybe the law and maybe the police, but they only know the doctors. So when the exam, final exam, I silently choose the design graphic, number one. The second one, medical student. In the end of the day, I enroll at economic faculties because I didn't pass both of them. I'm not quite smart here. But they convinced me to do the next exam, and finally I got to become a doctor. Fast forward, I became the OBGYN, and I'm living my parents' dreams. I don't know, is it my dreams to work as an OBGYN? Because in deep my heart, I still want to do the art thing. And somehow, today, I realized that my dream is come true because the art is not only in the design graphic or maybe just drawing or sculpting, because somehow when I do the operation right now, actually it's an art. I can do delivering baby. Right now, I already mastering for the shape it section, which is after the delivery for the 6 cesarean, I can do shaping the belly. So that's my dream, that I can do art and also work together. And when I go to the capital city right now, that's my second challenge for me, because I live in Sumatra before and do the OBGYN also in there. And I already get the good, well paid for the salary. And then I have to go to Jakarta, which is also my parents' dreams. And in the second thought, I think, can I go survive in the Jakarta, in the capital city? And believing in my dream also, and I go, and have courage to go to Jakarta. And then, yeah, lucky me, after 1 month working, my salary, my first salary is 1.7 million rupiah, okay. Because I'm the new doctor. And then I already married that day, and I told my wife, I got 1.7 million rupiah. She's smiling. I'm lucky because she's very understanding. In that day, she already worked at the ER in one hospital in the Jakarta also, in the Pondok Indah also. And her salary already 8 million. So I do the thesis that day. Yeah. No, I mean, we have the same vision, and we have a courage to embrace the challenge. And after a couple months, I get the better salary. And then my dream sometimes become a reality right now, without I realize it. So I have one thought that I want to have my own clinic. So right now, I have my own clinic also, in Amnion Clinic, and my wife don't have to work again in the ER because the doctor in the ER is very tired. So she is my CEO in my clinic right now. So when I'm youth, when I'm young, I read one book that changed my perception in life. The book is called, the title is The Secret. The book teach me about 3 rules how to succeed. Why 1% people embrace the wealth of the world? Only 1%. So the book teach me about 3 important rules. Number 1 is dream. The first important one, you have to dream. The second one is believing. The third one, the universe will work for you to achieve your dream. So I don't think, is it really the secret? But I'm realized now that without a dream, so we don't know what to do. We don't focus about what to do. So as every resilience, every motivation, every what we knowledge, what we can do is become less because we have no purpose. So dream is important. The second one is believing that you can live your dream. So after you're dreaming, you believe that I'm living the dream. After that, universe, or maybe we can call it God, will work it for us to achieve our dream. So my final words is, dream big until the dreams become your reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that very inspiring talk, Doctor. Up next, we have Mr. Ben Giles.
Thank you very much for that. I'm just looking at that photo. I haven't worn a tie probably since that photo, so it's nice to see it occasionally. My name's Ben Giles. I'm a very proud parent here of Alfie and Lulu, and Alfie is actually one of the organisers of this, and I'd like to thank him and his team for putting this on, and I'd like to echo Howard's compliments as well. I also took note, Howard, of your tips as well, and unfortunately I didn't go to GBD to see that one. I wish I did. But yeah, this topic on turmoil, I thought, I really asked Alfie, I have no idea what you're really talking about, and turmoil. It doesn't affect me. I have no idea what that is. Personal turmoil, it's trauma, it's political upheaval, it's economic crashes, it's all these sort of things that can affect our lives. And I thought about it a bit, but I still thought, no, it doesn't really affect me. And I guess when you see me up here on stage, you see a white middle-class Australian, you probably think there's no trauma, there's no bad things really from that guy's life. And in many ways, you're right. I grew up in a wonderful, loving home. I experienced no abuse. There were no bombs going off. There was no gunfire. There were no murders. I had a very nice education. I went on to university. I had all these wonderful opportunities in life. So in a way, I'm not really much of an expert to talk about this. But then thinking about it, there are other areas, aren't there, that these sort of upheavals and changes do affect us. I've actually got an interesting story of my time actually from Adelaide. That's my hometown. It's a very tiny little city in South Australia, and I often joke about it to my to Ika, who was here, and my kids. Things don't really change there. Now, when we moved back there about 8 years ago, one of the things you notice is there are these speed humps, whatever you call it, policitidor, just to keep everything in check. There are cameras everywhere. There are traffic lights everywhere. I think the maximum speed in Adelaide is about 40 or 50 kilometres an hour. You really can't do much. Everything is monitored. And thinking about that, and maybe that is the way that, maybe that's the way the government can control and minimise the upheavals and change in our lives. But in a way, that sort of affected me personally as well, because I absolutely hated it coming back from Bangkok. And really, I went from a loud, busy city to this quiet place where it was very hard to get to sleep at night because it was so quiet. So in a way, that was a little bit of upheaval and change that affected me as well. So that's probably my first example. But then that leads on to probably, for the younger ones here, that there are two certainties in life when thinking about these sort of topics. And one of them is that every generation thinks that the current generation there is the toughest one of all. And it's so turbulent, and there's change, and there's everything going around us. Everyone says that. That was the comments made when I was a kid at school, when my dad was a kid in the 1950s at school. There was change all around them. So that's one. And the other one, of course, is that turmoil is something all around us. It happens. It's everywhere. And change is, how do you put it? Change is a constant. Change is something that's there. It's always going to be there for us. And in a way, if I get back to that weird story in Adelaide, no matter how much they try to minimise the turmoil in our lives by putting cameras everywhere and speed humps, in a way it didn't really work, because it still brought about a bit of internal turmoil in me, which I probably took out on Ika and the kids a little bit too much with my frustration. So moving on a little bit about turmoil, I feel there's probably bad news with turmoil and this sort of upheaval and change. And one of them for the younger guys there is that you'll probably will definitely lose your job at some point. I lost my job. I've had contracts run out. And then, there's this period of massive uncertainty about yourself and all of these sort of things. You'll probably lose a loved one as well, either through a lost relationship or even a death of a family member or a loved one. And that will happen. It's inevitable. I lost my sister and my parents within about 8 years of each other. And it was horrible. And in a way, I'm still getting over that sort of grief. And, Lulu and Alfie, lost their aunt and grandparents as well. It's inevitable. That's a fact of life. You'll probably also experience an accident or an incident that will injure you. You'll be in a car accident or a motorbike and you'll be maybe severely injured. You'll also experience other bad things that will happen, a massive economic crash. You might be traveling through a country and there's a military coup and things like that. All of these things are pretty much out of our control, but they can cause this sort of upheaval in our lives. But on the flip side, I think, when we're talking about change and uncertainty, one of those definites and where change is a constant is you will get a great job. You'll meet the love of your life, and you'll have kids. So that's always the flip side. And I think the way that I'll probably finish this up and close it is that with upheaval and change, and you'd notice that I've moved away from, and I've moved on to talking more about change, which is far less terrifying, isn't it, than trauma and all of those other words that we were using before. But one of those ways that you can overcome it is to really accept that that is a fact of life, and it's always going to be there. Change and turmoil will always be there. So once you accept that, and you accept that things around you may not be in your control, and you just have to deal with it somehow. So you just accept it. The other way I've found in the past is I embrace it. So that weird story of moving back to Adelaide and not being able to sleep, because it was so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. I ended up I embraced it by laughing about it and downloading an app that made noises of traffic. So I could play that every night and it put me to sleep. So I could just think that I was still in a city with cars and traffic and turmoil. So I needed that. It's just about embracing and assessing and learning. Learning is another big thing as well. When you stop learning and trying to find out things every day, you stop, basically. It's as simple as that. So accept, embrace, assess, learn. You also take control of what you can control of. We're worried about events in the Middle East. We're worried about what could happen with Donald Trump. Maybe he'll put all these embargoes and trade bans and all of these things on countries, on China and Australia, and that could affect my work and all of these sort of things. It's completely out of our control, but we can control a little bit around our lives, and then that's how we look at doing that. We accept, we embrace, we assess, we learn, and we can take control of that. You smile, you be happy, you talk, you connect with other people, you have a mentor, you share. Sharing and talking is really important. We have fear and uncertainty in our lives all the time, and sharing and being able to smile and know that the day is going to be over soon and there will be a new day tomorrow. I believe that the sun goes down and it rises every day. It does that, and it gives us a fresh start every day. And if it didn't, if we just had day, the sun was out all day, just wouldn't feel like change, would it? And you wouldn't be having a fresh start again the next day. And then to finish, sometimes none of those things work either. And I'm not a doctor. I have no expertise in that field, in turmoil and trauma. And for many people, of course, they do need to seek help and reach out. And that's the last one of all. But most importantly is reach out, love life, and embrace change. Thank you.
Test. Thank you for that very insightful talk, sir. Next up, we have Mr. Rajpal Singh, the corporate head of nursing at Mayapada Healthcare. Sir, please welcome on stage.
Good evening all. I hope you guys are feeling good today. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting event put across by Global Jaya School, especially the students they've put in together. Yeah. It's my privilege to be here, and I'll be speaking on, has shown there, harnessing the third force. Okay. In 1920, there was a guy who actually came from India to Malaysia. And this guy actually moved from Malaysia to Malaysia. It's because of there were poverty in India, and there were difficult times in India. So due to that, he moved to Malaysia, and he started off with ground zero. When he was there in Malaysia, he took a job as a security guard in the railway station, and there he built his family, slowly one at a time, and slowly he owned a couple of animals, cows, and began to sell milk. Later that time, in 1950s, one of his sons has interest in healthcare, and then joined the hospital. In the hospital, he was working in the dark room. And the dark room there, what he was doing was preparing all the radiographic images. But he knew there was something out there that he put his interest off. He didn't want to just be a helper in the dark room. So he took the challenge during the independence of Malaysia to travel across to Australia and then to become a radiographer. And when he came back to Malaysia at 1963, he was the first radiographer that Malaysia had trained out of Malaysia by the British time. And this story I'm sharing with you is actually the story of my grandfather. If he would not have started that point where he took it very seriously that he wanted to be a radiographer, he wanted to be a change agent at that point, I wouldn't be here in the healthcare. And again, here today, even though I stand as a proud Malaysian, but at the same time, I'm here actually to work together in the name of the fraternity of nursing. Yeah. And coming back to our topic today, the challenges, turmoil, and we see a lot of young people say, there's a lot of challenges going on, perspective is different, as shared by different our speakers here, that challenges come in different ways, and every generation say that how they are different. So I would like to share something about healthcare to all of y'all. If we talk about challenges in healthcare, the one point that we look at is actually during the pandemic session. Yeah, we always feel that was the worst of all. But me being a nurse, in the past few years, I had the privilege of being across during the SARS period, during the H1N1 period, and finally, during the COVID period. Everything changed during then. Yeah. And we look at everything as a challenge. I mean, it became so bad that we couldn't even go out of our house. Yeah. And with that, a lot of new innovation came into place. But how did this innovation came into place? I believe it was the force of the third force. It was through creativity, collaboration, and also resilience that all this came into place. I would like to share something about my experience during the pandemic in particular. Okay? When pandemic was starting off, I still remember it was a Chinese New Year that year, and we had tourists coming across from China. And then the whole thing went off because the borders were not closed at that point, and the cross-contamination happened across. But being able to work during the period of H1N1, we know that it was going to be a problem. So we took immediately actions to contain the infection throughout the hospital. Because after all the flights, by the time the government knew, it was already too late already. But how did this came into place? Again, this whole action came into place is because of history. When we look back, we had experience with SARS and H1N1. And based on that, we start making decisions to have control, to have infection control practices in the hospital. So my point, what I'm saying here, yes, we need creativity. We look at creativity portion. We look at collaboration and resilience. But historical evidence plays a large part into managing a challenge today. And today here across, this is what my main word will be to the younger generation here is actually, I understand that we have period that parents or even someone of an elder generation come forward to us and tell us that we went through more difficult than you and you are getting it easy. Yeah, up to a certain extent, but challenges have changed. Yeah, Those days, the challenges was to get to a phone booth. Today, the challenges is to keep down the phone. So with this in place, with the challenges in place, we have challenges all across, but how do we actually learn from it based on our historical part and move forward to it? So in nursing particularly today, a lot of people ask what is different compared to the days of Florence Nightingale, where the modern nursing came 200 years ago. You see, Florence Nightingale started off nursing being a researcher, looking at disease pattern, helping in the Crimean War, and so on. But up to today, we are still doing the same thing. We are researching, we are moving forward. But I would say the element is a bit different. How are we doing it today? Yeah? So those days, we might not even have computer. Florence Nightingale was writing it down. Maybe the pencil was not a high-class 2B pencil, but today it's totally different. So with the tools that we have today, creativity, collaboration, and also at the end of it, resilience, have a different change completely. And what I mean by different change, I would say that the tools assist us to work accordingly. So with that, I would like to summarize again. At the end, when we move any challenges, there is a turmoil, anything, think about the third force. Think about having creativity, having collaboration, and having resilience in place, but don't forget historical outcome that what has been done previously. The best in the world have taught us, you want to move forward, learn from your past. And with that, I would like to quote the words of Sir Albert Einstein, in every challenge there lies an opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that brilliant speech. Next up, we have Bapak Arya Kuntadi, the Commissioner of PT Telkom Metro. He is also a Global JS School alumni, so this is a welcome back for him.
It's very nervous talking here. I mean, I've been on stage for a long time. Let me just do my best in here. First of all, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, distinguished guests, and my old teacher, Pa Eddie. Give you a big applause. I was here 24 years ago, and he knows me really well. I was not a smart kid, but kind of cute. And I think I'm a good student, right, Paidi? And I would like to say hello to Dr. Howard Menetz, the head of school. Hello, Doc. Nice meeting you. I haven't seen you for ages. I think, hope you see me in the homecoming last 2 months ago, I think. Thanks very much for having me here. And all today's keynote speaker. You guys are awesome. And all the teachers from Global Jaya, I think if you are here, I will say, hey, hello. And I hope you guys still remember me as a good thing about me. And also the parents of the students, I want to be a bit close to Fayad's father, Pak Yoki. He's just there. Great man, leading a big company. And during the turmoil, actually he's the one to speak in here, huh? He had a big challenge too. And also, I see Pa Rifa too was here too. Somewhere here. All right, hello Pa Rifa. Nice sitting here again. And all the students, thanks very much. All right, so enough for my chitty-chatty. So I'll carry on with my slides. So I'm going to talk a little bit because Fayad told me to have to speak, a minute of time. So I'll try to shorten it up a little bit. So my topic talks about resilient minds, boundless innovations. I'm not being narcissistic in here, but I'm going to tell a story about my life, how I'm from Global Jaya until up here. Carry on. So here's a bit from my resume. Yeah, well, I was here in 1999 to 2001. Back then, I still remember the smells of the buildings, and I still remember the soccer field. I used to play soccer a lot over there, but now it's a huge soccer field. I feel like Inipa, like in not in Jakarta anymore. It feels like I'm in Melbourne. The field is really awesome in Global Jaya now, and then I moved to Geelong High School in Melbourne. I'll tell you why a little bit later on. And then I moved to States for my business degree. Well, at that time, everyone's talking about business is good, blah, 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 blah. So I'm thinking, okay, start going over there. And then I start to move to Japan for my master's in public policy. I'll tell you early on, why is that? All right, that's me. Can you guys spot me there? I'm very big different. If you see right corner from that side, oh, I'm sorry. Is it a, okay, never mind. So that what the long hair was me. Oh, that was me a long time ago. Was have fun, and Global Joe is a really good school. I mean, your parents are lucky to put your kids in here. I'm thinking to put my kids in here too. It's there. And yeah, well, here, all my times is always having fun, and it's always fun. And that was me singing in the hall, the old building, by the legendary hall building. Yeah, it was me with the shorts and playing band, rock, and all those things. All my old days just having fun, and it's always fun. Carry on. All right, this is the part that I want to share a little bit. So once after I finished Global Jaya, I moved to Geelong, in Melbourne. I find it kind of difficult moving there. It's kind of like more challenge for me. Because you know what? Global Jaya is like my comfort zone. So and then I've got thinking, oh, I've got to get out from my comfort zone. Like, saying everything in English. Although in Global Jaya at that time was not, that time my idea, still not fully English, yeah? Still ENSL, yeah? So, yeah, here I start making new friends, which is out of my culture, out of my world, and I barely cannot get in touch with them. It's very challenging for me at a very young age, and I'm alone. But one thing that helped me out is just always have to believe that there's one quote at that time I learned from a good friend. It says, tough time never lasts, but tough people do. When I decided to go to high school, I started to believe that I've got to be strong. And I am blessed to have a parents that can support me to go there. And that's a time for me to start showing that I am capable of this new opportunity. So and then I start moving to in Seattle, States for my bachelor degree. There, I start to learn about new things, which are more out of my comfort zone. I start joining organizations. Because when you're having homesick, you're alone, you need to think about your resilience. Like, how do you actually make it strong? So I start thinking, okay, making new friends, believe in God. And Professor just talked about it just now, having more guts and to believe that you are able to do all these things. Because you got to be more confident. And then, so start thinking there. So I'm like, okay, I know I can do this. Even though like sometimes homesick calls, like, oh, mommy, daddy, being a kid. And, but again, I believe that I have to stay strong. I got to be strong. And yeah, so, and then I remember I found a quote from Martin Luther King that goes over in my head. It's, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort, but when he actually stands for controversy, the challenge that makes you strong. So that time, I always just ask myself, can I do it? Can I move this forward? I said, yes, I can. And I have to be able that I can. Because there's no turning back. I cannot just call mom and dad, Mom, I want to go back home. I'm scared. I cannot do this thing anymore. No. Quitting is not an option. So you just have to believe. You have to just keep moving forward. Because when you have this intention, like good intentions, God will be in your hand. And inshallah, you'll get through these things. So yeah, so I just keep on saying positive things. I'm making new friends, like, just being very, confidence, all of those things. So then I moved to Japan, take another level. And in Japan, I found another moments that where the culture is very big difference. Like, and then I started asking myself, all right, when I was in the US, I started joining PERMIAS. PERMIAS is like the Indonesian Student Associations. But they're all Indonesian. I mean, I want to be more than that. So I take another step over there, and I joined the student government. In the student government, they're all Japanese. And I can't speak Japanese. So what do? Again, I try to blend in with the culture. Good thing, I'm in love with Kamen Rider. I don't know if you guys know that. It's called Satria Bajah Hitam in Indonesia. If you guys know that. And then I'm in love with anime, yeah, Dragon Ball and those stuff. Well, I guess you guys know that as well. So that can be my starting topic to engage with them. So blending with the locals, you gotta be same thinking with the locals too. You can't actually have a boundary thinking like, oh, I can't do this, oh, I'm scared to do that. No, you have to just have to forget about that. You got just to embrace that with confidence. And I'm sure everybody are able to do that. You just need your belief on do that. Right, and then back home, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to show up in here, but I'm just saying that my path from there to here is just like from Global Jaya. I was a cute student, was always being a good student, trying to be A+, but I got C+ all the time. But again, I survived. I passed the grades, yep, idea, and now I'm here. I'm here, and then, yeah, try to figure it out and being confident, and try to think about all challenges in life. There is no such things that you cannot do it. You always can do it. It's just about the willingness. You need the willingness to do it. So never say that you can't or you cannot. It is about, do you want to do it or not do it? If I have to say in Indonesian, it says that bukan bisa atau tak bisa, tapi mau apa enggak kalian melakukannya. So that's kind of like pushing me through around in my head, showing that I gotta be able to do this and do that. So this thing helps me out to get through of these challenges in life. And now, since my dream back when I was a kid, I always want to serve the nation. I always want to be someone for the nations. It started when I was in junior high school in here. Global Jaya was a great school, but all of my friends is actually not from the fortunate. I mean, I hang out with them, but I didn't know that Global Jaya around here is all perkampungan. I don't know how to say perkampungan in English, so I said perkampungan. So I started hanging out with them after school. We finished school at 3:30 at that time, 3:30 apa idea. And then the areas there, I play soccer. Sometimes they're not allowed to play soccer in here, but then we negotiate, say, "Pa, we want to play with them because, you know, they're good at playing soccer." I mean, in here, all the soccer players are trained by special coaches because Global Jaya has special coaches. But then I asked them, let's go play with us together. So, and then we can elaborate or, you know, make more friends who are actually out of our area. So then I started thinking that one day, if I go abroad, like I have to go back here. I mean, I have to make these changes. I have to believe that I am able to do these things with courage, with belief, with optimism, and with morality, of course. And then on the 20th October, when the President Prabowo been inaugurated, the day after that, I got a phone call from the Minister State of Enterprise, and he asked me, Arya, do you want to join me as a special staff? And I say, Bismillah, yes, I am, sir. I am ready for the job. I've been waiting for so long for this work. I've been so long for this opportunity. And I said, yes, sir, I am. I'm ready. So now that's my job. I'm helping out the SOEs companies. And well, that's a lot of fun. There's a lot of challenges. But knows the story. But again, this life makes me like to believe that we have to able of these obstacles. So what do we need? Again, embrace it with confidence. That's a message I want to see you guys. And these five, these five, just to close for my speech for today. So these five are the main elements that I'm using during my tough times to get here. So first of all, is the talent skills. So again, I might share a story like when I was in high school, it's hard for me to get close to any friends and stuff like that. So talents helps you out to connect with them. Like in Global Jaya, they help students with their artistic talent. Like I love to play guitar. And that time I was the best guitarist, not being narcissistic again. But I didn't know that if I did, yeah. So yeah, I've got a confidence in playing the guitar. So one time I played guitar with the locals there, and then they start talking to me. They start engaging with me. So that's when they start pointing, I actually get connected with them. Second, it's communication skills. Like you have to be confident in your talking. Do not say like, oh, I can't speak English. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't do this. Don't worry about that. Just keep doing like what I'm doing right now. I know. Like I don't know whether what I'm talking is the right thing or not, but I just believe that I'm trying to send a good message to everyone that's in here. So by the end of the day, as long as your intention is good, just keep doing it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a people's perspective of seeing right or wrong. Because the only thing who know right or wrong is just God. So just keep doing it. Third, the attitude skills. This is very important. Like all of us in here, parents and students and my fellow friends, attitude is very important. Like I can see Global Jaya parents always have this lesson to the kids, make them to believe that how to actually being polite, being humble, being so respectful to others. And then knowledge skills, like you got to be up to date. Make time with your kids or make time with your parents to talk every Sunday, at least 1 or 2 hours. This talking about issues like what's been going on. It's like talking about like, okay, what's this, what's that. So it just gives you more knowledge and see things that maybe from their perspective, because parents is always right. And last is experience skills. This is what I want to urge you guys to help out get through of this turmoil. Join organizations. I think, but there's OSIS in here still, yeah? Yeah, and for Global Jaya students, please join OSIS. Start joining organizations because there's another thing where you can see another perspective. You will see people's other point of view from joint organizations. And you learn, you enhance your leaderships. You learn to how actually interact with others out of your way of thinking. This will be a good place to all of you. So I urge students here, like carry on after that, make new friends with organizations because I got connected with all of this by organizations. So yeah, it helps a lot. Yes, this is just what before, just to close the sum up. So never say you can't or you cannot, but it's always about the willingness. That's the key. Just whenever you feel down, whenever you feel like, oh, I can't do this, believe. The key is you started, just don't give up. You have the willingness. And again, never say you can or you cannot, but it's always say, I want to do it. And last, so this is from my team, but again in here, I urge people here to, I always believe this, you all the students in here you guys have a great privilege in Global Jaya. You are very gifted. You go to this school, you go these wonderful places. And one thing I want to share a message that one day you need to go back here again, back to your nations, build these nations together. 2045 is our time. And all of you is going to be responsible what waits us hard in the future. So let's work together. Let's build these nations together. And always be grateful and keep moving forward. Again, thank you very much. And I'm sorry for passing sometimes. I hope I don't make small mistakes, but thank you for having me. Thanks very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Where's this?
Thank you very much for that great speech. Hopefully in 20 years, it's me talking about my experiences in the school. Now, we're going to welcome the Norbiters for their performance, I Will Fly by 10 to 5. Give them a round of applause, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kinya, and I'm here with our band today. We have Aurelio on the drums tonight, and Arik on the guitar. Arik on the guitar as well, and Alesha on the bass. So I hope you enjoy our performance today. You know all the things I said, you know all the things that we have done, and the things I gave to you. There's a chance for me to say how precious you are in my life. You know that it's true. To be with you is all that I need. 'Cause with you, my life seems brighter, and these are all the things I wanna say. I will fly to your arms and be with you till the end of time. Why are you so far away? No, it's very hard for me to get myself close to you. You're the reason why I say you're the one who cannot believe our love will never end. Is it only in my dream? You're the one who cannot see this. How could you be so blind? To be with you is all that I need. 'Cause with you, my life is brighter, and these are all the things I wanna say. I will fly into your arms and be with you till the end of time. Why are you so far away? No, it's very hard for me to get myself close to you. Oh, oh, oh. I wanna get myself close to you. I will fly into your arms and be with you till the end of time. Why are you so far away? No, it's very hard for me to get myself close to you. I wanna get myself close to you. I wanna get myself close to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to the Normators for that very beautiful performance. Can we please get one more round of applause for all of them? Now, I know many of you may feel lethargic and very bored, so we will now have a short intermission. Right now, it is 6:06, and we please ask for everyone to return to the theater and their seats by 6:40. You can go outside to the foyer, enjoy some food, discuss or talk with each other, and if you want to pray, if you're a Muslim, you can go backstage into the dance room. Just keep in mind once again, please be back on stage by 6:40 for the remaining two speakers. Thank you. previous speakers. Before we continue with our event, allow me to formally introduce myself. My name is Fayed, and I will be your host for the rest of tonight. Continuing on with the theme of Thriving on Turmoil, a lot of our previous speakers have been a lot of adults, a lot of people from outside of school with varying experiences that I'm sure relate to many of the parents attending today. But I'm sure and very confident that a lot of the students present today are wondering, what about the representation for my generation? Who is here to speak about the struggles and hardships and the experiences I, as a Gen Z student, experienced? Well, I'm sure our next speaker will fulfill and answer your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce our next speaker, a fellow Global Jaya student and the General Secretary of Hox Mundo, Anika Siahaan.
2 months ago, I went to Bali for my school's annual Week Without Walls trip. Except this trip wasn't like any other because it was the last school trip I would go on in my high school career. Ever. Okay, maybe it's not all that dramatic. Because since then, we've all resumed living our very hectic Ivy Diploma program student lives. But despite this, one moment of this trip lives in my head to this day, rent-free. Oddly enough, it wasn't during some grand adventure. We weren't swimming, we weren't even hiking, and we definitely weren't victims of the infamous Bali belly, or whatever this tourists call it. Rather, it was something profoundly normal and ordinary. It wasn't something you would see in a postcard. I was simply just standing by the beach in Jimbaran. It was the second to last day of our trip, and honestly, I was recovering from the exhausting bus ride there. Because one of my friends sitting behind me kept kicking the back of my chair, and the tour guide in our bus was, let's say, a little bit too enthusiastic. And while I was trying to take my peaceful nap, I just kept drifting in and out of consciousness. Besides the point, as I was standing by the shore, I noticed that all of my friends around me were doing different things. A group of my friends were posing for Instagram-worthy pictures, and another group of my friends decided it was a great idea to hold a running race, barefoot along the sand. And the teachers, which I don't think were very in favor of the idea of a running race, but anyways, they still stood back and watched it all unfold with their arms crossed. And then I saw it. Underneath our feet, the sand kept getting kicked or stepped on to form new patterns that changed every single second. Even the waves in front of me crashed into the shore and formed a new wave that later on replaced it. And I realized that that exact same event, under those exact same circumstances, would never happen again. This experience I had is more than just a mere observation. Rather, it was a profound realization. It was an enlightenment, and more specifically, it was the perfect embodiment of Anika. Yes, Anika is my name, but Anika with a double C is one of the core principles of Buddhist philosophy. Anika is one of the 3 marks of existence. The first being dukkha, meaning suffering. The second being anatta, meaning non-self. And the third is anicca. It means impermanence, transience. It emphasizes the fact that everything in our lives, whether it be physical, mental, or emotional, is at a state of constant change. Nothing is permanent. Everything is fleeting. Now, you may be thinking that, what is this impermanence? It's such a lofty, such an ungraspable, abstract, philosophical concept. But in reality, it's actually something woven into the fabric of our everyday lives, into every breath we take, every decision we make, and every relationship that we build. Impermanence is a part of our daily lives, whether we realize it or not. Let me show you how. Let's take an example from something that we very often overlook, our very own human bodies. Did you know that every 27 days, your skin completely renews itself? Did you know that the average human sheds 50 to 100 strands of hair daily? Yes. And here's another one. The cells of your stomach lining renew themselves every 2 to 9 days. And even your bones that seem so structurally intact, so permanent, and so solid are always rebuilding themselves. And it's not just us. Even the world around us is at a state of constant change. The mountains, they seem so eternal, right? But in reality, they'll end up being eroded by rains and winds anyway. And even floods. Floods and rivers will carve new paths, new streams, and new valleys in the centuries that they've been here on this earth. You know what? Even our sun, the center of our solar system, is constantly in a state of change. Solar flares erupting and vanishing in moments. Its surface ever changing. So with that, we can see that impermanence is not just a theory floating in our minds. No, rather, it's the very heartbeat of our universe. Let's take it a little closer to home. I want us all to try something. Close your eyes if that's how you feel comfortable, and we're going to do a few breathing exercises. I want you all to inhale, breathe in, and feel the air fill up your lungs, and now exhale. Let it all go. Notice how even that one breath was unique. The inhale led to the exhale, and the exhale made space for the next breaths that are now sustaining you. Inhale, exhale. Creation and release. That breath you just took, it will never happen again. The exact composition of air molecules, the rhythm, the sensation, it's unique. That cycle of impermanence is what keeps us alive. That cycle of impermanence is actually the beauty of life itself. But the thing is, sometimes impermanence is misunderstood. Because we as humans, we're taught and we're used to craving this kind of stability. We cling on to what feels familiar to us, just because it feels nice, warm, fuzzy, and comfortable. We even resist change just because we see it as something that's scary, or sometimes even painful. But what if I told you that impermanence isn't something that we have to fear? Rather, it's what makes life worth living. Take the seasons, for example. When you think of seasons, I know you think of the four: winter, spring, summer, and fall. But I think the 2 seasons we encounter here in Indonesia are enough to prove impermanence in our world. We very often dread the dry season because of its agonizing heat. And we also somehow dread the rainy season for its sticky, moist weather and the constant showers that make going anywhere feel really, really uncomfortable. But even though we feel like these seasons last forever, the reality is that they don't. It's just our mind creating that dread. And the truth is that the dry season makes way for the rainy season, and so does the rainy season make way for the dry season. And it's not just in nature, it's also in human nature. The pandemic was an impermanent time. It's over now, but for me, it was one of the most transformative times of my life. Why? Because I was able to step into a community at that time that to this day has changed my life and has altered the way that I look at life itself. What is this community? Komisi Remaja Gereja Kristen Indonesia Pondok Indah, the organization for teens at my church. During the pandemic, I was in 8th grade, and they opened sign-ups for this retreat. And I wanted to be part of the organizing committee. This retreat lasted 3 days, and it was online. But don't be fooled, the organizing committee had to come offline to church before the event, during the event, after the event. And all the time we had to spend days at church, like from the morning to the late night. But I wasn't mad about it. I enjoyed the times while they lasted because I was able to rekindle my friendships with old friends that I had known from Sunday school that had drifted apart from me because of the pandemic. I was able to strengthen my spirituality, and most importantly, I was able to learn. I was able to learn from the circumstances under which I was working, and most importantly, from the people I was working with, regardless of their background or their age. And that to me became the beauty of impermanence, because now when I look back on those times, I appreciate the fact that they didn't last, because that's why I'm able to cherish them today. And at this point, you may be thinking, impermanence, I mean, it's kind of an easy thing to accept. But no. When we lose something or someone that we love, the pain can be unbearable. In times of heartbreak, impermanence can give us peace, though. Like a forest that regrows itself after a wildfire, or a river that forms new paths after a storm. We too are able to form our own paths and thrive even despite life's disturbances. When I think of resilience and impermanence, the first person that comes to my mind is my dad. My dad, when he was starting off his master's degree outside of Indonesia, lost his own dad, who was his role model for resilience. And that became a turning point, a wake-up call in his life where he was able to change the way he worked and the way he looked at life because he realized it wasn't permanent. But it didn't come instantaneously. On Thursdays like this, by 3 p.m., he would check in to his job at a fast food chain and work to sustain himself. And his work ethic to this day has brought him to get a remarkable job that we are all proud of. Like waves on a beach, the hard times in our lives come and go. And when we embrace that truth, that's when the resilience sets in, and it helps us get through life in all its difficulties. Think about it. When was the last time you faced a challenge, big or small? Whether it was a personal struggle, maybe a tough decision to make, or even a moment of self-doubt. I myself always experience these difficult moments when I'm deciding whether or not to take an opportunity at school. Whether that's in leadership or in volunteering, I always have this fear that sort of holds me back. It holds me back, and if I were to cave into that fear, I wouldn't be standing here today with confidence because I would not have discovered myself the way that I have. That fear allowed me to lean into the discomfort and take the risk anyway. And I hope that brings you all to realize that impermanence isn't just a fact of life. Recognizing the fact that nothing here lasts forever isn't enough for you to thrive. You need to see that impermanence is actually an invitation for us to evolve into better versions of ourselves that can thrive amidst difficult times. No matter how hard we try, though, we're always imperfect. We are human, and I think it's really important for us to recognize that human quality that we have within ourselves. As humans, we're dependent on one another. We're social creatures. And in relationships, impermanence also rings true. We always hope in relationships, whether that be family, friends, romantic relationships, that everything stays the same. But like anything else, relationships are dynamic. They will change, they will evolve, and sometimes they'll even end without us expecting it. I experienced this evolution in my own friendship with my friend Amy. Amy's been my friend since I was in Mommy and Me class at tutor time, my preschool. And in kindergarten, I went to Global Jaya School with her. For 12 years, we went to school together at Global Jaya School until last year. Everything felt so stable, but Amy received a remarkable offer for her to study abroad and fulfill her passions in dance. At that moment, our friendship dynamic changed, but it didn't end. Me and Amy are still friends, but since we don't see each other every day at school, our commitment to be friends with each other is deepened because we have to put more effort into our friendship amidst the non-constant circumstances that surround us. Thus, impermanence teaches us to cherish the things and the people that we love while we have them. And impermanence teaches us to always express our feelings when we can and let go when it's time. So, where does that leave us? The answer is actually simple. Impermanence isn't something to fear. It's something that we need to embrace. And impermanence, like the sand beneath my feet at Jimbaran Beach, keeps moving. Life keeps changing, often by forces that we can't even control. But as we walk on, those changed paths become a part of our life. And we can learn to ride with the waves of change rather than resist it. That's the extraordinary part of it. And I hope that next time you experience a hardship, a difficulty, or even a point of fear in your lives, you remember that nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. And that's the beauty of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anika, for that awe-inspiring talk. I'm sure everyone in the audience, regardless of our age or background, can relate to your topic. Regardless, impermanence is true for all. For us students, it's the ever-changing responsibilities, our ever-changing bodies, and our ever-changing relationships. And even for the parents in the audience, it's how their relationship with us is constantly changing. Most of us here will soon go to university, will soon be independent, and I'm sure many are struggling to come to terms with that. Moving forward with our next speaker, our speaker here has faced many turmoil in his life, whether it be his turmoil when moving to a foreign country or when he was bullied and trying to pursue his career. Please join me in welcoming Ariel Nayaka.
Thank you, bro. Aha. Wait, which one do I press for next? This one. All right, cool. Hi, guys. How you guys doing? My name is Ariel Nayaka. Ariel, like the Little Mermaid. Nayaka, like, well, me. So basically, just a little background, just a little brief little background. I was born here in Jakarta, Indonesia. But I grew up in a place called Houston, Texas in America for a good like 6 to 7 years. And around that time, I went through a couple turmoils and got bullied because I'm a Muslim. And then over there, I stayed during the 9/11 attacks. So back then, it was very hard for a Muslim to live in America. But I found my solace in music, basically, long story short. So yeah, there we go. So right now, today I'm going to be talking about turning a niche hobby into a full-time career. How niche is the hobby and how full-time is the career is what you might be asking. So what is my hobby? From when I was a kid, I had multiple hobbies. At one point I wanted to be a magician. At one point I wanted to be a WWE wrestler. At one point, I wanted to be a spy. It was just kids, right? But one thing is for sure, I realized that I was different compared to my friends. I mean, I had friends, I'm pretty social, but I'm different, I'm a bit different. Everybody had dreams of pengen jadi insinyur. Jadi I forgot to put it up here, but there's a picture of my yearbook pada waktu TKB waktu itu ya. Di situ semua orang mimpinya pengen jadi insinyur, dokter, an astronaut, a pilot. My dream, tulisannya pembasmi kejahatan. I don't know, I was just different. I wasn't weird, but I was just different. But I loved it. And my mom, I love my mom because my mom always tells me to just be different. Don't be the same like everybody else. So yeah. This picture right here, this is me performing on my own 5th birthday. I wanted to perform. I was like, Mom, I want to perform. Up there is me when I was 15 years old. I did a performance in a school that's not far from here as well. Not my birthday, but it was like a pentaseni. Had a band at the time. And down here is me when I was 25. We headlined the second stage at We The Fest in 2018 to the point where people couldn't get in the stage. So yeah, that was a pretty fun time. So as you guys can see, my hobby is music. I rap, I sing, I perform. Basically, I'm a musician, I'm a recording artist. But the problem is, in Indonesia, do Indonesians actually listen to hip hop? That is the question. Okay, by a show of hands, who here listens to hip hop? Oh, you see that crowd in the back? Yeah. See, there are a lot of people who listen to hip hop, but the sad truth is, in Indonesia, I don't know if you can see the charts. This is taken from Scala Survey Indonesia in 2022. 58%, a majority of the peminat music of Indonesia is dangdut. That's just facts, that's just the data. 31% pop, 3.9% daerah, 2.6% keroncong, 0.3% rock, 0.4% jazz, hip hop, not even in the conversation. So, why am I doing this? There's no peminat, nobody's doing it. Why do I do it? Well, some say it's passion. Some say I'm delusional. I like to think it's a bit of both. So what am I basically? I'm basically a rapper, or more formally known as a recording artist. A rapper is like, if I go to my family event, rapper kondang, nge-rap gitu. Well, rapper is the moniker for it. But technically, if somebody professional from the music world asks me, I say I'm a recording artist, I'm a writer, I write for other people, I make beats, I make instrumentals for other people, I'm a composer, I'm an arranger, I am, there's a lot of things I do in music. So yeah, that's me. This is a little brief overview of me, my friends. I like to do this thing where we go to hotels and we book a room in a hotel for like 2 nights and we just make music. So yeah. How does it work though? How can you be a rapper in a country where nobody listens to hip hop at all? Well, you gotta find your sound, that's one. And finding your sound may apply only for music, but if you apply it to any other type of industry, finding your sound could be what makes you different. What is your unique selling point? What is your USP? You know, you got to find that because it only takes one unique selling point from you and your competitors to make you stand out. It only takes one. So yeah, you got to focus on finding your sound. And of course, if you can't find your sound, don't worry because it takes time. I know it takes time because this is my discography basically over the past, I want to say since 2016. So 9 years, almost 9 years, 8 to 9 years. Alhamdulillah, I have amassed over 33.3 million views. And I have about 6 albums and countless singles. So if people ask me, why don't I give up because I've done so much and I haven't been on like a crazy level? Because I love it. And this is what I'm passionate about. And it's a crazy thing when you're passionate about something. It doesn't really matter how it ends up doing, but you know, you're just in it for the ride. And that's one thing that everybody got to understand. The ride is amazing, the process. Secondly, it would be nice to have a community of people with like-minded goals because you can't really work by yourself. You know, you got to have a team of people that you trust, team of people that you can communicate with, team of people that have the same vision. Because at the end of the day, a team effort is what gets everybody there, you know. And also in hip-hop is very known to be very rugged, is very competitive. I don't know if you guys know, but hip-hop is the only genre of music where it's as competitive as an NBA athlete. They would go into the studio together. They won't do push-ups or anything, but if somebody writes an amazing verse, 2 or 3 other people will say, stop everything I'm doing. I wanna find a way to beat him in his verse. I wanna write something better. But then again, that's something good because it's healthy competition. You know, you kind of force yourself to like, to motivate each other. You know, you kind of bring out the best in each other. So I always feel like competition is good as long as it maintains healthy in any field. This is one of my favorite quotes by me. You gotta really, really, really love doing it. Whatever it is you're doing, you gotta really love doing it. You gotta commit. What's the point? What's the point if you're approaching things, you know, kind of half-heartedly? There's no point. You just gotta go all in and love the process. The business side of things. Yes. I used to hate this. I'm 30 years old now. I was born in '94. When I graduated high school in 2012. After I graduated high school, I hated the business side of things. I hated it. Hated it. It's the most boring things ever. I always called it the business side of things. Every time I had a meeting about anything, music or not, and it's business related, I always call it the business side of things. But for some reason, as I've grown older, getting more accustomed, talking to new people in the industry, I'm beginning to like it. I'm actually beginning to like the business side of things. It's a bit more tricky than normal socialization, but it's great because whatever you do, you're gonna need to know the business side of things. It doesn't matter if you dance, it doesn't matter if you make movies, it doesn't matter if you're in theater, it doesn't matter if whatever, you're gonna have to learn the business side of things. So one thing that I learned when I was, after high school was, I just had to adapt to the business side of things. So now it's been 5 years, but I've been signed to a major label, Universal Music Indonesia, and I'm also signed to the sub-label Def Jam Records, also in the same label as globally, where I'm in the same label as Justin Bieber, Kanye West, and all these big names. But yeah, man, so this is my decision on taking things from the business side of things, joining a major label, understanding how the system works, why does this song work, why does that song not work, how to promote music properly, how to get viral properly, how to just not use social media, but use social media. You know, like there are divisions in major labels where they help you with that. So a major label is like a huge team backed up by, I mean, there's major labels, there's independent labels. Independent labels are nice because maybe you would have more of your earnings, but then again, you have to create and you have to make the team by yourself. Whereas a major label is an already existent label. They will help you in any way, shape, or possible. And I don't know, I love major labels because, you know, this is like the superstar treatment, you know? So yeah, this is me next to all the other artists in the region. Yeah, man, pretty proud of it. I'm the first Indonesian signed to Def Jam, basically. So yeah. At the end of the day, we gotta treat it like a business. One thing I learned when I was a little kid was sometimes you gotta do things you don't wanna do. And that's kind of one of the realest things ever, you know? Like, I think that's when you kind of differentiate someone being a man and not. It is when they do things that they don't actually wanna do and they commit to it. Branding is also very important. Branding, I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows kind of how important branding is, but I can't stress this enough. You gotta learn how to brand yourself and you gotta learn how to market yourself or your product or your service, because if not, it's not gonna go anywhere, guys. This is me, so I'm also a, what do you call it? I'm also a brand ambassador for Nike since 2017. So this is an example of connecting yourself with brands in order to excel your brand in a way. I did an article with Hypebeast, I think this was a year ago or 2 years ago. And yeah, we were launching one of the new Nike collabs with Ambush. And so yeah, they gave me the shoe. I was the first one in Indo with the shoe, and then like I couldn't tell anybody about it until the photo shoot. It was insane. Yeah, again, like what I said earlier, don't just use social media, use social media. Don't just like scroll through social media every day till you're asleep, but like utilize it and like understand what made that viral and how can I make my brand go like that? How can I do a promotion like that? So yeah, man, I mean, everything nowadays is very social media oriented. Social media went from something that we just, you know, in our spare time to businesses are there. So I think we should really pay attention, our focus to, you know, social media, because everything's right there. But again, we got to do it properly. And last but not least, this is the very most important one. It's very easy to say, but most of the time, very, 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 very hard to do, which is escape your comfort zone. How do you escape your comfort zone? I don't know. Everybody got their own ways to escape their comfort zone. For me, it's always trying things that make you feel uncomfortable. If you can't eat spicy foods, I used to not be able to eat spicy food. Maybe I still can't eat spicy foods. I have a tattoo on my leg that says no spicy, and that's forever. But at one point, I learned, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to eat spicy foods. So I ordered one of the most spiciest noodles that I could find online. And I still hate spicy foods. But my point is, try to escape your comfort zone. Because once you escape that comfort zone, I'm pretty sure you're gonna figure out something about yourself that you've never known about. And that's gonna be one of the most amazing discoveries of your life. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much. My name is Nayaka, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Bapa Ariel Nayaka, for that lovely talk. I'm sure all of us here have a niche hobby that we would love to explore. One of the greatest things about Global Jaya as a community is that we're very student-led and that we allow our students to discover and explore their own passions. I know my dad, he loves golf, almost like a maniac. But I think unlike Mr. Ayaka here, I don't think he's good enough to pursue that as a career. Anyways, all that talk about music has got me in the mood to listen to something. So going with Bapa Ayaka's theme, please welcome once again the Norbiters onto stage to perform Desafinado by Bailanova.
Hi again. It's gonna be our last song for tonight, and yeah, this is Desafinado. I don't speak Portuguese, nor do I speak Spanish, so I might butcher up the lyrics of this one, but I hope you can still enjoy the performance. So thank you, everyone. Se você disser que desafinamos, saiba que estou me provocar mensa dor. Oh, privilegiados tem ouvido quais são. Eu posso apenas o que Deus me deu. Se você insiste em classificar meu comportamento diante música, eu neste momento ainda devo argumentar que sou bossa nova, que sou muito natural. O que você não sabe, não sei que pressente. O desafinado também um coração. Fotografei você na minha Rolleiflex. Revelou-se a sua enorme ingratidão. Só não poderá falar assim do meu amor. Ele é o maior que você pode encontrar, viu? Você como sua música é que é o principal. Que no puedo desafinar, no fondo de puedo bater calado. Que no puedo desafinar, também bate coração. Love is like a never-ending melody. Poets have compared it to a symphony. A symphony conducted by the lighting of the moon. But our song of love is slightly out of tune. Once your kisses raise me to a fever pitch, Now the orchestration doesn't seem so rich. Seems to me you've changed the tune we used to sing. Like the bossa nova love should swing. We used to harmonize two souls in perfect time. Now the song is different and the words don't even rhyme. 'Cause you forgot the melody our hearts would always croon. So what's the good of heart that's slightly out of tune? Tune your heart with mine the way it used to be. Join with me in harmony and sing a song of loving. We're bound to get in tune again before too long. There'll be no desafinado when your heart belongs to me completely. And you won't be slightly out of tune. You'll sing along with me. Thank you, everyone.
Once again, thank you to the Norbiters for their wonderful performances tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last performance we have for you tonight. But before we say goodbye to the inaugural TEDx Global Jaya Youth event, we would first like to thank our sponsors who made this event possible. First and foremost, Pertamina International Shipping, Functional Prehab, Home Juice, and Coffeeholic. Additionally, we would like to share with you a message from our sponsor, Pertamina International Shipping. Please enjoy.
Ayah?
Si adek udah tidur belum?
Nih adeknya. Halo ayah.
Adek, nanti kalau ayah pulang
kita main ya.
Di saat kami melepas jangkar, mengucapkan salam pada Ibu Pertiwi untuk mengarungi luasnya samudra. Kami yakin tiap mil yang kami tempuh takkan percuma. Kami, Pertamina International Shipping, melangkah hingga detik ini untuk tepati janji mengantar jutaan kiloliter energi, menyalakan aktivitas, dan menjangkau hingga pelosok negeri, memutar roda perekonomian demi mendukung pertumbuhan. Kami berdedikasi menjaga ketahanan energi bangsa sebagai barisan terdepan penyedia solusi kelautan terintegrasi yang terangkai melalui barisan armada shipping andal yang siap berlayar menuju pelabuhan dunia. Kelengkapan marine services sebagai penunjang kegiatan angkutan laut, sarana pelabuhan, juga layanan pendukung, serta fungsi logistik untuk mendukung transportasi dan penyimpanan dan berbagai layanan lainnya. Kami persiapkan diri demi menghadapi tantangan dunia. Tak gentar sedikit pun saat hadapi badai. Hingga kini tiba saatnya kami membawa Indonesia mengarungi laut dunia untuk menjadi Global Leading Shipping and Marine Logistics Company. Berekspansi sebagai perusahaan maritim yang komprehensif dan bertaraf internasional. Menjalin kemitraan global, membangun bisnis kelautan antar bangsa, dan terus memperdalam pemahaman kami akan kebutuhan energi di masa depan. Kami berkomitmen menjadi yang terbaik, bertumbuh selaras dengan keberlanjutan bumi dan kesejahteraan masyarakat, bersama memajukan Indonesia. Dan layaknya energi, keinginan ini takkan pernah pudar. Karena energi adalah semangat kita semua mengalir untuk Indonesia menuju dunia. Kami akan terus berlayar karena kami, Pertamina International Shipping, energizing the ocean.
Once again, thank you to Pertamina International Shipping and all our other sponsors for allowing this event to happen. Finally, we would like to thank the crew, our wonderful crew that allowed this event to happen. First and foremost, Gion Sargon Tambunan as the TEDx Global Jaya School organizer, and myself, Muhammad Faid Arayan, as TEDx GJS co-organizer. Furthermore, we have Abdul Rafi Abian Barkam as logistics and planning. William Jonas Bates, also as a part of logistics and production. Kai Iksara Projo Sujadi as logistics. Muhammad Rasha Rasjid as communications and media. Zarek Marchan as designer and media. Oliver Simon Dodson as co-designer and curator. Raswara Arundaya Supriyadi as production. Alfie Giles as production, and Balian Ahmadi Bahagia as sound mixing. Furthermore, we would like to thank our lovely band, the Norbiters. We have Kinya Arazaku as lead singer. Atarik Iman Putra Yando as lead guitarist. Aurelio Arazi Shasta Ngurah as drummer and keyboardist. Alicia Putri Susilo as bassist. And Arik Octavio Ramanda as rhythm guitarist.
And lastly, a special thank you to our head of school, Dr. Howard, for initiating this project with us, and the secondary principal, Ibu Nelsi Saravia, for leading this event as well.
Once again, thank you all audience members for participating. With this, we bid farewell to the TEDx Global Jaya School 2024 event, and we wish you all a very happy night. Thank you.